force it to go. I'm so at the end of my rope right now, I just am so hurt and frustrated. A little background. I have been married to my wife for 15.5 years at this point. We have 3 kids ranging from 9 to 16 years old. We started very early in life with our family, and our first few years of marriage were very rough. We eventually overcame that and grew up and had several years of a very good marriage. I love my wife so much. Only recently though I have realized that I have, especially over the last few years, become very selfish and hurtful to my wife. I have damaged her heart. I'm not talking about anything like abuse, just neglect and selfishness that has turned her heart cold. I didn't even realize that I was doing it at the time, and looking back now I really think that for the last 2 years I had been living in a state of depression that I was not dealing with. Anyways, now, a month ago I learned that my wife has spent the last year having an ongoing affair with me. She says she loves me but isn't in love with me. She has broken off all contact with this man, and we are supposedly trying to work on our marriage. However, she has a lot of internal, personal issues and she is working on those. She is not even really sure that she wants to work this out, but she is taking steps to try to move in that direction. I have forgiven her. I have, but it is so hard to deal with. Then I learned this past week that this wasn't the first time. Over the last 2.5 years or so she has actually had 2 separate year-long affairs on me, I now learn. Here's the thing. I can forgive her both of those. I am so sorry for the hurt and neglect I showed her. I love her so much. I know divorce is not best for our kids. I am willing to work on our marriage. I don't care if it takes 6 months, 2 years or 10 years, I want to make this work. But at this point I'm the only one fighting for this marriage. I understand that she has broken off these relationships, even though she loves this other man so much. I understand that she is working on her internal, personal issues. But at this point she won't even let me take her out on a date. We talk. We spend time with our kids. We go through the motions. We are friendly with one another. But she won't take positive steps yet towards fixing our marriage. I am at the end of my rope. I feel like now, after learning about the second affair, well, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I still want to move forward, but I'm so tired of being the only one trying to fight for the marriage. I don't know what anyone can say or anything. But if anyone has experience, or advice or anything, I appreciate it. I'm just at the end of my rope. I'm so close to saying either poop or get off the pot, start fighting for this or end it. I just can't take living like this anymore, but I also don't want to shut the door on any chance for our marriage to get fixed. I knew things hadn't been just right for a little while. Thought it was under the surface and I hadn't done anything about it yet. But when it really hit me, when I really saw the damage I had done to her heart, was when I saw what she had done to me, when I learned of the affair. I am a very spiritual, religious person, and I think that God used that to knock me into sensibility. I have been utterly broken and changed. I'm a very, very different man than I was just 2 months ago. I'm sorry that it took this to wake me up. And although I do accept that my actions caused the situation that led to her betrayal, affairs, I do not accept responsibility for them. I know that they are completely her responsibility. Update: we had a productive day, sort of, yesterday, and yet I'm maybe even more in limbo, not knowing what I should or want to do. Up until now she has been working on herself, which, as I said, we are both very religious and both agree she needs to do. She needs to get herself right with God before we can heal together. But she has been saying that she still doesn't know if she can commit to our future and that she is trying, but she can't make decisions yet. Well, now she has come out and said that although she told me 3 weeks ago that she broke off contact with this man, she has in fact still been talking to him over her work phone. She told him the other day that they need to break contact off for the month of March so she can get her head straight. Yesterday though, there was a bit of a moral, disciplinary crisis with our youngest son, and that really rocked her. She actually, really, literally now has told the other man that she can't go on anymore, not to contact her, call her, email her, that it has to be over. She still says she loves him so much, and this is so hard, but now that she really is ready to work on this and try to make it. Now if we didn't have kids, divorce would be her answer, but because of the kids, and because of God, she is ready to work on it, and commit to our future, to try and work things out. Here's the problem. I've been fighting for more than a month to get her to make this commitment to us. But now, do I want it? Over the last month it has progressively gone from 1. I don't love you anymore, but no, there is nobody else. 2. There is someone else, but no, it was never physical, I promise. 3. Yes, it was physical, over the course of a year. 4. It has been 2 to 3 years of 2 separate long-term affairs. 5. I told you I broke off contact 3 weeks ago, but that was a lie, but now it's broken off. I can forgive the one affair. 2 makes it harder to know that she has caused me that much pain. Then the repeated lies, the unwillingness to give it up, the fact that I know that her commitment, such as it is, really is for the kids and God and nothing about me. I love her, but it's so much to take. In so many ways it would be easier to end it, and just go find someone that I'm more compatible with, and who wouldn't treat me like trash like she has. On the other hand, it's my conviction that although I do have the option for divorce here completely, that it is never God's desire or answer, that God hates divorce always. I do love her. I'm so torn and don't know what to do. I didn't know I could hurt this much. I don't want to try and make this work, only to go through this same pain in another 2 or 3 years, or in 9 or 10 years when our kids are out of the house and it's only us left. I want to be happy and with someone who appreciates me and the things that I do. A month later, I can't believe how much God has healed. It's been a while since I've been on here and told my story, but for those who don't recall, after nearly 16 years of marriage, I found out that for the last 3 years my wife had gone through 2 separate long-term affairs on me. For the first 5 or 6 weeks it was a battle, as she didn't know what she was going to do. I forgave her, though there was in it a lot of hurt and pain, but she didn't know what she was going to do. Luckily, we both share a deep faith in God and Christ, and that held us together. We went 2 weeks ago for a week of intensive counseling in Florida with a group that came highly recommended to us. It was an amazing time and there were some real breakthroughs. My wife has finally, basically, cut off all contact with the other man and regularly tells me she loves me again. She is definitely committed to me, and most of the time I don't even have to think about or worry about anything. Oh, things are different. There will always be hurt. I am still learning to trust her again. There are moments where I struggle. For instance, yesterday she had to legitimately work a little late, and it caused thoughts to run through my head a little bit. But all in all, I feel like we are so blessed and have come so far. I know from talking to others or reading about others that we seem to be doing better just over 2 months after the fact than many people I know or know of seem to be 6 months or even a year after the fact. We are learning to love one another again. We are taking dance lessons and going dancing as we learn to share leisure time together again. It has been great. At night we are reading a marital help book that is really helping us as well. Both just the time spent together reading and discussing it, and the actual content, Fighting for Your Marriage. So far, I couldn't recommend it highly enough. I just want to offer hope to some of you out there. There were dark days that I didn't know if I could see a good ending or any happy future for myself, let alone my marriage. But God has richly blessed us and we are healing day by day. There is hope as long as both of you are willing to work on it. 2 months later, my wife and I are still doing good, better than I could ever have expected for still being relatively not very far into this. When her affair came to light, she first said things like, "I love you, but I'm not in love with you, and I love him so much more than I ever loved you." We have always been verbal about expressing love, and so even when the affair was going on, she would say "I love you," I guess as a cover-up. Well, once everything was out in the open, she stopped saying "I love you." I never heard it from her, and that hurt. After our breakthroughs at our counseling retreat the last week of March, she began saying "I love you" again. But I have always felt that if I could translate from spoken words to true meaning, that what she was saying was more true love begins with a choice, and I choose to love you, but I feel no real emotional love for you right now. Now don't get me wrong. Actions do precede emotions, and so I was overjoyed for that step, and for the growth in her and in our relationship of taking steps towards true healing. But what's so great is now the last couple of weeks there has been a change. She tells me now, "I love you so much. You know, I mean I really love you. These last couple of weeks I just love you." And just as it should, I feel that the emotion is finally following the actions, as it should and does in life. It's great to have my wife back. Things aren't perfect. Trust is still being rebuilt. There is one nagging question I still have about some things that happened, but I feel like we have put the affairs to bed and that they should stay in the past, so I've not brought it up. The other day, though, it kept nagging at my mind. But I don't question her love or commitment, and things are going so great I just don't want to bring back up the past. I feel like if the guilt and shame of what she did is her burden to bear into the future, maybe an unanswered question or two is my burden to bear, and it's a small price to have my incredible wife and family back finally. Well, even after the reveal, she continued to, secretly, speak to him on the phone and occasionally email him for a time. There was one night that she went out to dinner with her sister and a mutual friend. These 2 women also were complicit in the affair in many ways. She was late getting home, and when I talked to her on the phone, she said that her and her sister had drunk too much and were letting it wear off before coming home. I think she was with him, or that they were all together, and I want to know what actually happened that night. We had a talk this evening, and I did ask her about it. It was just the 3 girls out, and they had even taken a couple of pics on her phone of themselves being silly together. I guess my spidey sense was off in this case, and it's good to get some closure on the issue for me. I thought she would be upset by me bringing up stuff again, but she was actually great about it. I love my wife. A year later, I've been married almost 18 years now, and 16 months ago found out my wife had been having an affair on me for a couple of years without my knowledge. As soon as I found out, I realized some of the ways I had neglected our relationship and factors I had contributed lead her to do what she did. Not that I bore the blame, it was her faithless actions that did it. She bears that responsibility. But I understood what had gone wrong and decided to fight. It took 3 to 4 months for her to come out of the fog, mostly. Finally, through counseling and help, we began to heal and thought we had been a success story. I did find out down the line that she tried to keep him as a friend. They never saw each other, but they would talk still. She has given that up now as well, and I know that for a fact. For the last 7 months I thought things were going incredibly. My job now has me traveling a lot, but things seemed to be great between us. I wasn't hardly ever checking up on her anymore. Trust was really being built back. I thought things were great. Then on a random cell phone records check, I noticed an hour-long call to a number I didn't know in the middle of the night while I was out of town. Turns out she had flirted with a salesman at a store she was in and they wound up having phone. Then I started finding out that she had been lying to me about a few other things. Money I didn't know about. She and I like to go dancing, but she knows I'm not comfortable with her going without me. Well, I found out that when I'm out of town, her and her sister have been going dancing and she has been lying about that. So, I've peppered this with the bad side of the story. There are good sides. We do love each other. We do have 3 kids, 17, 12, 10, who we don't want to hurt. The youngest 2 would take it especially hard. I have no doubt that she has finally broken off all communication with the OM. We are both religious and believe that divorce is wrong. Although I certainly have biblical authority for divorce in this case, it is never God's choice or will for it to happen though. We do have fun together and genuinely care for each other. Coupled with this, there is a girl who I am attracted to and who has been friendly towards me, and if I were free, I think that there could be something there. I would never pursue it or open any doors while I am married because I know that it is wrong. But I am now questioning whether it is time to call it quits. I had dinner and a discussion with my wife about this last week. Basically, she said she loves me but she most of the time doesn't feel in love with me. She would let me go. She really will not end the marriage. She is committed to staying, though I question what would happen once the kids are gone, but she would let me end it. She says that she wants me to be happy. She doesn't want either of us to be hurt. She is going to start counseling again tomorrow afternoon. A year later, I have gone through divorce after my ex-wife's serial infidelity. I am healed. I am doing very well actually. In fact, I am in a very serious relationship now with an extremely faithful Christian woman. We are both deeply in love and I'm going to propose to her on her birthday coming up. Here is where I need some advice though. My current job is one that has had me traveling all over the country. I basically do not have a home at the present time. I am in the process of being hired onto a new job, but the income is much lower than I am used to. This new job will give me a new start, close to my girlfriend, soon to be fiancé. The problem is that the lower income, coupled with child support and many other things, will make things very tight for me. My girlfriend has offered for me to live with her, which I love the idea, but I don't want to do anything wrong. My girlfriend is still a virgin, and we plan on her remaining that way until we are married. We have spent the night together several times, and although we are both attracted, physically interested people, we take our faith seriously, and I have never compromised anything. We love to kiss and cuddle, but I have never so much as fondled her breast. We are very careful with our boundaries. I like the idea of living together, love it even. But is it wise? It would solve a lot of financial issues. For both of us, she has recently taken in her unemployed, divorced sister and niece, and this has seriously stretched if not broken her budget. My second income would help her. My comment: if you move in with her, you might as well start sleeping together, since you're already married. Not saying that dogmatically, but you will feel obligated to take care of her and her family, so you're pot committed at that point. I think it is a bad idea. Dating and engagement is supposed to be a learning phase where you ensure you and your mate will make good life partners. If you overcommit and start financially supporting her and her family and get to a point where you feel obligated to stay even if you aren't happy in the relationship, then you won't be in a healthy place to make sound relationship decisions. Move in for the right reasons, engage for the right reasons, get married for the right reasons. Don't do any of the above for money. Story 2. My story: married for 22 years and thought we had a fantastic marriage. Seriously. Anyhow, husband turned 50, always worked out but started lifting weights like crazy. And it seems that he is an I guess sort of, with a 20-year-old girl. I say sort of see, I saw their texts and it seems way more one-sided on his part. I'll explain later. I had suspicions of a strange situation as he has his own business and this girl has been working with him on a commission situation. His business is night, weekend, but he was spending very late nights once a week with this girl, training her for months. I asked about it as I thought this was all weird and he laughed, saying she was just a kid. I never had reason to doubt him before, so I went with it. Fast forward, I saw his phone and couldn't help myself but to see his texts with her. I was shocked. He was expressing his love and need for her, how he dreams about her, etc. Seems I am holding him back or some crap like that. Interestingly enough, this girl takes a while to text him back and is very non-committal. It doesn't seem as if she is interested in him romantically. No romantic feelings expressed by her at all. My feeling is she likes him as a person and likes the commission money she is getting for not doing very much. I confronted my husband and at first, he lied, but as I read the texts out loud, he had to concede that he has feelings for this girl. He admits that she doesn't seem overly into him, said she is more like a fantasy. However, he is unwilling to not have her work with him or not see her. I sent the girl a message, not angry or mean, just saying that I know and I saw the text and that I told my husband he is free to go. She said that she doesn't think anything is actually going to happen and nothing ever has, and that she never wanted this. I told her that based on the texts I believe her. Husband left and got his own apartment, which I helped him find. My guess is now that he is free he is going to pursue this girl hard. Again, reading the texts from when he last left, she is still very non-committal, 2-sentence responses and takes a while to respond. I have to assume that when he sees her, she is flirting or giving him something. This is strange. I have thought in retrospect and I seriously did not see changes in our marriage. We still got along great and had fun together, had slept together regularly, hugged, kissed every morning. I am totally blindsided. Finality, he says he still loves me and wants to be great friends. I told him I have no interest in being friends, and I don't. It's like he has gone through some midlife insanity and I woke up in the twilight zone. I have put in as much of the no contact as possible the 180 when I have to deal with him. We have a son and I do some work for the business which we need for support. I have gotten an additional job and am doing my best to gal. I found out on March 5th and he moved out this past Friday night. He already seems miserable with his living situation. He came in to get remainder of his stuff and pick up his son to spend time with him. However, he has expressed no remorse for the sort of and I still think he wants to try with this girl. I wonder how long a girl can string a guy along for before they get the picture. I told him that he is putting his business and reputation in peril, but it seems he is still moving forward. This can't possibly have a good ending. I think this is a midlife crisis, but either way it is so destructive and he is still responsible for his actions. I feel so crappy though, not sure what to do. I do have family who have been supportive, so I am lucky in that regard. I am looking into lawyers but feel so overwhelmed right now with such tremendous change. I went from I'm in a great solid marriage to my husband is having a MLC and moving out to attempt to have a relationship with a 20-year-old. He's 50, talk about change. Trying to move forward as best as I can. Maybe I am fooling myself, but I don't think it has happened. But I am realistic enough to know that it is probably she is keeping him at bay. I agree about showing my value to him. He has already wished for me to find a good guy. That was fast. Looks like attorney is the next step. Wish healing didn't take so darn long. Wouldn't eat or sleep for a week. Crushed in fact. My dad used to say never let them see your face, so I've tried to be detached with him and aloof when he was still here before he, found his app. At first, I was furious and pissed, but then went to aloof and detached, especially when I saw the handwriting on the wall and he was not willing to get rid of her. I have been reading and researching and learned about the 180 and it made sense. My son, we have one 15 years old, actually heard us discussing, me yelling at first when reading the text, so he told me he heard everything so I didn't have to make the decision. He thinks it's ridiculous and said he could be dating this girl. I am embarrassed for my husband but sad for what we used to have. Truthfully though, I don't feel so tough. I just didn't really see a viable option once I saw how he responded to our conversation. He didn't express remorse and was unwilling to stop seeing her. It feels like he didn't fight for us at all. It is just so unbelievable. He's all ready to move on and have me find another guy. Insert eye roll here. The first 2 days, nights I was questioning him, emotional, in shock, etc. I knew crying, begging would do nothing but lower, and disrespect myself wouldn't help my situation, so I never went there, at least with him. So, I went to my parents and escaped and formulated my new moving forward attitude. I don't feel strong, I feel like crap. I hope I can stay on my path. My parents are a real love match and have been married for 50+ years. They have a very respectful, loving relationship. I don't know if this matters, but my dad always treated me like his princess and told me to expect that my husband, all men, to treat me like I am special. I have a good male role model in him about being a good man, husband, father. Other than that, I guess just dating experience growing up. Men never respect you when you beg, plead, cry, and it won't get you your desired results. That combined with my dad's never show your face, I guess resonates with me. Also, I noticed when I had heartbreak, although nothing compared to now, I did much better get over someone when I had no contact and cut them off. However, being cordial when I saw them was the play. I feel like I keep my respect this way and it actually helps me. When you have to keep seeing them, it creates more roller coaster emotions, which totally suck. That's my story. I already own the house, bought prior to marriage, and it is in my name only. I took care of all of the finances in the relationship, so I also moved much of my own money into bank act with my name only. All my investments prior to marriage stayed in my name. The assets that we have together we discussed how to handle, and we did take care of that, and I typed a contract on what we agreed to, and then after it was divided, had him sign that he received them. I feel like I got the better end of this deal as he is still in this weird fog. Of course, a lawyer will handle this better and be more thorough about everything including child support, etc. But I thought I would get the ball rolling as soon as possible. I don't think she is physical with him. I saw the text conversations between them, so I can't say that he is paying her for that, if you know what I mean. I'm sure she must be flirting or something with him though in person, and yes, I agree for the money, just keeping him warm. I think he is psycho to give up everything for something that's not even close to a sure thing. However, either way, like someone else pointed out, he has shown the value of me and our marriage to him. I informed him that he is putting his business, reputation on the line with this, so he knows. I just want to be far away when this whole house of cards comes tumbling down. An update. So, a friend of his who I have known reached out to me. I told him what happened and he asked if I want to talk and grab a bite to eat. I said yes and that I can use a friend now. This friend of his is about 15 years older than me and married. That's right, married. He tells me that intimacy is gone with his wife and they have talked of separation, divorce. He then tries to kiss me and is pursuing me hard with texts, etc. First of all, no matter what story you tell me, yourself, you are married. I will never ever be that woman. I am totally blowing him off. What is odd and ironic is I am in a similar place to the girl who my H is trying to get with. Honestly, it feels gross and I feel sickened. I must have been being naive, but I thought I was just grabbing a bite to eat with a friend. I mean, I am surprised by my strong reaction. Worse yet, it also makes me completely lose faith in men that they have any honor at all in their marriage agreement. Am I just running into some bad apples here? I always knew that there are some cheaters out there, but I am beginning to question the whole thing. I will never marry again seems it means nothing. I did tell him to back off, and like I said, I was naive. I didn't think it was a date. Lesson learned. I have been out of the men world for so many years. I don't know what I am doing. I have zero desire to date anyone. Lesson learned about male support. I have no interest in a much older guy. When I eventually take the plunge, I am looking for one my own age. I can't believe the crap show that is going on. It's like I was just exposed to some weird effed up world. My comment: there are men out there who are willing to set aside desires to cheat on their wives because they want a normal marriage only to find their wife can't handle it. You just need to meet the right people.